What is going on, everybody? This is Jackson from JD Sports Zone, and today I have a very special interview with Illinois State baseball alum, a recent MLB Draft League champion, and recently signed with the Athletics, Judah Morris. Judah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this. How was your holidays? And thank you once again.
Had a good holidays, just spent time with family and training. It's been going well. How's your holidays been?
It went great. I appreciate you for asking me. I got time to spend with my family and the girlfriend, and just, it's been a really relaxing December. Sucks I have to be back at college, but it's great to get you on and do these podcasts and interviews. So super excited to do that. And I want to ask you, before we get to the whole pro ball aspect of your career, I want to ask you about earlier on in your collegiate days. You spent time at a JUCO and then elevated to Illinois State in the MVC. I want to ask you, I love asking these guys when it comes to collegiate ball transition, what made you want to go to the MVC in Illinois State after leaving your first destination in collegiate ball?
Well, I spent my first year at JUCO was like kind of the second year of COVID, so decided to redshirt because, there wasn't many games we played. And then I played 1 year at Casitas River College, and head coach Steve Holm reached out, and he was a guy that he was pretty much told me off the jump that, like, maybe you're a guy that shouldn't be playing at our school, or you might not see yourself playing at our school because we are mid-major, but I just want to have a conversation. So I talked to him, took a visit, and I really enjoyed what Illinois State had to offer for me. And so instead of going back for my second year, I decided just to go play Illinois State.
I mean, you had phenomenal years at Illinois State, and I want to ask you about that. Your first year, you were getting in the swing of things at the MVC, and then the next 2 years, your last year at Illinois State, you batted a 298 batting average. Absolutely phenomenal. I want to ask you, the adjustments, not just physically, but mentally, you made to reach that elevated level at Illinois State. What was that like for you?
Well, the first year I played Illinois State, I actually got injured twice before the season, had a hamate bone surgery, and then coming off of that, um, during one of the league games, ended up subluxating my knee. So I was pretty much out for that whole year. So that year really wasn't a great year for me in terms of what I did on the field. But the next year, I really didn't set any expectations for myself. As a team, we just wanted to win. And I was trying to do what I could to help the team win. And then going into last year, I had some good success the year before, and I just wanted to do better. I got to cut down on the strikeouts and try to get the hard hit percentage up, and overall just get better. And going into it, I had a hitting coach, Logan Moon, who he helped me a lot with just simple fixes that put me in a better position. Um, yeah, so doing that, I mean, stats show I played well. I walked way more than I struck out, and my on base percentage was much higher than the year before. Batting average higher, homers higher. So it was just some small adjustments I made to get better.
And I mean, those adjustments truly worked out well, leading to the 298 batting average over at Illinois State, and then also leading you to a second team All MVC honors, with Illinois State batting over there. And I want to ask you about that accolade during your career, especially in your senior year, final year of collegiate ball. What was being named to second team All MVC personally for you?
Personally, for me, being named to second team, it's something that I appreciate, but like accolades aren't really the big thing I look for. It's just something that shows the work that I put out on that field. People can make cases whether I could have been first or not or whatever, but I don't really look at it in terms of that. I'm just proud of the way I was able to play and show up for the team every day.
I mean, it's great to hear that perspective inside of things because I go to the University of West Georgia, and a lot of guys were hoping to make the second team, first team, all ASUN, and they were all talking with me. I'm like, accolades really shouldn't mean anything, as far as I guess, well, collegiate standings, but kind of focus on yourself and making yourself better as a baseball player every day. So it's great to hear that perspective on the side of things of somebody who played in Illinois State. Now it's time to get to the pro ball aspect of your career. You had the opportunity to play in the prospect league with the Corn Belters and Normal, and then you also had the opportunity to play in the MLB Draft League alongside draft eligible talent. What was that like compared to Illinois State baseball, having the opportunity to play with other draft eligible talent alongside those guys there?
I would say being able to play for that first half of the Black Bears, the draft eligible challenge was probably that was probably the most free I felt because it was not like there's a lot of guys who had like high expectations for herself or although the talent as a whole was like just the best around. So being able just to be there with those guys and pick their brains and play with them and just realize that everybody's just a person at the end of the day and we all strive for the same thing and we meshed as a group and it was fun. It was very laid back in terms of like didn't really put like expectations. We were just going out there to play and have fun with each other. And eventually, we played well in that first half. We fell short in the season, but it was a lot of fun.
I mean, it's great to hear, the whole first half side of things when it comes to, the MLB Draft League. I had your former hitting coach for the Black Bears, Tony Caballero, on the podcast a couple months ago. I had Jay Jackson on as well. So it's great to hear, such fun moments from the MLB Draft League. And I want to ask you some fun questions relating to baseball instead of, a whole thing aside from pro ball and the stats side of things. Now, we're around the same age. I'm 21 years old, and many music genres and music tastes vary. I want to ask you, what's your go-to music before heading out to that field? Like, do you have a certain playlist of artists, on your Spotify or Apple Music? I don't know which you use, but do you have
Um,
some?
I wouldn't say necessarily like a certain playlist. Some guys. It depends who's on aux. There's some guys who have really good aux, and I don't have to listen to music. But if I were to be listening to music, probably on my own by myself, probably listen to like some Sleepy Hollow or some Gunna.
I love the answers there. Sleepy Hollow. I mean, honestly, I loved 2020 Sleepy Hollow, COVID year Sleepy Hollow, and then Gunna nowadays. I went to his concert last year. Absolutely phenomenal, best concert I've ever been to, personally. So I mean, I love the Gunna and Sleepy Hollow answer. I think Jace Reinhardt's was like old rock country, so it's great to hear the different varieties when it comes to the rap side of things, country side of things, and. You played in West Virginia, and I don't know what food they are known for up there, but I want to ask you, what is the best, like, outside food you had during your collegiate career or MLB Draft League that, you had up there in the Northeast?
Well, West Virginia is known for their pizza rolls. I think that's what they call the pepperoni pizza rolls. Those are pretty good, but I mean, we didn't really have a lot of out of the ordinary stuff playing there. I'd say like I don't have more like going to Nashville when I was at Illinois State, like having the barbecue in Nashville was probably the best food have had like traveling.
I mean, I love Nashville barbecue. I live in the Georgia area, so we get a lot of barbecue down here. We don't get good pizza here. It's all Papa John's or Pizza Hut or Little Caesars, and it's nothing compared to Illinois State when you have good pizza up there in Illinois. And honestly, I'm from Illinois, so I kind of miss that out there. But I want to ask you some more, fun things when it comes to baseball. And every baseball player has a regimen going into a game. Do you have a physical or mental regimen you do before every single game? Are you a superstitious guy, superstitious baseball player?
I'm not really super superstitious. I think some superstitious can get you caught in a loop. Sometimes I like to feel free, depending on, what's going on mentally. If I had a bad game the day before, maybe switch a thing up, to make me take my mind off things. But usually it's just like, get to the field, do a little stretching and then go in the cage and get my cage work done. Then would go take ground balls and stuff. And then, after that, it's go in the locker room. At West Virginia, we'd literally play Connect Four and cards like the whole break in between like BP and when it's time to get ready for the game. So that's like probably the most superstitious thing that we did over in West Virginia was we play a lot of cards, we play a lot of Connect Four, and we'd also have Bible studies before the game too.
And it's great to hear that, you're building team morale through Bible studies, through Connect Four and cards and ways like that. I interviewed Jaden Fielder, I think a week or two ago, and he told me he listens to ocean sounds every time as a superstitious thing. So it's great to hear, the different sides of things when it comes to, superstitions and baseball players, because I know everybody has their own certain thing. Now you're known for playing outfield and first base, correct?
Yeah, more first base, but I can play half if I need to. Yeah.
So more first base. Now every first baseman growing up has guys that idolized in the MLB. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of first basemen personally for you that you idolized growing up?
Personally, my first top two that I really looked at first was Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. Those are the two guys that I really like watched the most. Prince Fielder was up there. Um, but if I was like in terms of Mount Rushmore, it'd be Pujols and Miguel Cabrera up there definitely. I'd put Lou Gehrig in there, and then I'd probably throw. I mean, this is a controversial one because he was more of a DH, but I guess I put David Ortiz in there.
I mean, I love the answers, David Ortiz, Albert Pujols, specifically the Albert Pujols one, just because I'm a big St. Louis Cardinals fan. And a lot of people are like, Albert Pujols used steroids during his career. No, he didn't. Hey, if he was never caught, he didn't use it. So, honestly, Albert Pujols, first ballot Hall of Famer, and then Miguel Cabrera. And Lou Gehrig is not a common answer when I ask to like the younger guys when it comes to first baseman. So I love the answer of Lou Gehrig out there. Now it's time to get to like the big question because you recently, by the way, congratulations on signing with the Athletics, by the way.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate it.
I want to ask you, what was that like signing, your first MLB contract with an organization?
Yeah, it was a long time coming, dream come true. Ever since I was young, I'd always be sitting in front of the TV watching MLB Network and stuff like that. My mom actually grew up in Oakland. She was a big A's fan growing up, so and me watching the A's growing up along with the Giants, it was a dream come true, definitely. But signing that contract was a long time coming for sure, with everything that I've gone through and just the whole journey that it's been.
It's great to hear that, signing your first MLB contract. And, I truly wish the best of luck to you, in your MLB journey. And I hope to see Judah Morris as an MLB All-Star within the next couple years. And I'm going to buy that jersey when it officially comes out, man. But I want to, you know where you're starting out in the A's organization?
No, I'm not sure yet. No, I just report to spring training and you know show what I got and see where they put me.
And I mean, I definitely look forward to that. The Athletics are known for like their iconic jerseys with the greens and the grays and everything related to that. If you can create an alternate jersey, the Judah Moritz jersey, what would that look like?
Um, you know, I'm not sure. I like the white ones with the green lettering. It's one of the classic ones they've had. That's probably what would be my go-to if I were to put a jersey together for the Athletics.
I mean, I love the Athletics jerseys. I interviewed Brandon Moss. I think he was a 2014 player for the Athletics. I've interviewed a couple of Athletics guys, but it's I'm gonna interview a future Athletic, Judah Morris. So it's great. It's great to have you on in that sense. But Judah, I have one final question for you before we end off this interview. Now, a lot of baseball players growing up kind of focus on the physical and mental regimen and everything about making D1 athletics and collegiate ball. If you could give advice to your younger self, say about maybe growing up in middle school, what would that advice be from your stance and your experiences now in pro baseball to back then?
I would just tell my younger self to just continue to enjoy playing. Doesn't really matter. Um, when it comes to college where you start out, because some people, I've seen guys go into college and they hit growth spurts and they play D3 and jump to D1, or guys go to JUCO and jump to D1. It's just more about, if you get when you get your shot and if you get your shot to make the most of it and just to continue to love playing because the love of the game is what's going to continue or help you continue to play. It's not going to be any really motivation if you love it. It just becomes more routine because you enjoy doing it. So I just think, I mean, the end of the day, you love doing something, you're gonna continue doing it, and that's what I get to do.
It's phenomenal advice, and I think every younger baseball player needs to really realize that because I have a lot of guys that are in JUCO right now. They're focused on the stat sheet, and you shouldn't really. I mean, obviously you have to focus on the stat sheet, but you have to have fun with it, and that's what baseball is about. But Judah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this. I truly, truly appreciate it. I hope to get more MLB Draft League guys on, and just like yourself, and I truly, truly appreciate your time, man.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to my agent, Burton Rocks. He's done a lot for me over this past year to get me where I am today. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your time for having me on.